Hi, this is Jim Gibson in San Diego. We're looking at a TelData install. It's going to be a demo. They did a demo that tore out a lot of the walls, things like that. And now they're going to be doing pre-cable. So please stay tuned. You get some basic cabling done here, and at least the first phase, it's called pre-cable. Hi, this is Jim with TelData in San Diego, and we're doing a pull. And so there's some cables that are being pulled here, and you always pull from a central location. So there's 12 boxes there, and what they're doing is they're pulling, and the cable's going up into the ceiling, and then of course it's going out. So it's always, you should always have multiple boxes if you're doing multiple pulls. And this room is a demolition. So it was another company that was in here, another tenant that was in here, and this tenant decided to leave, or the lease was up, and this new company decided to take over for this company. And so what you have here is they tore down some of the walls. You can see the walls. This is probably an old firewall, I think. Might be a soundproofing wall, I don't know. Cut down on the sound. But the cable comes out, and you can see it's being pulled here, some of it. And those little things are called J-hooks. There's different styles. There are plastic style there. There's metal styles. You can get the one style that I have on the website at cablesupply.com. We sell this stuff, and there is a stub out. Now, stub out is just a conduit, 4-inch conduit with a bushing at the end, so that you can pull cable through walls fairly easy. So what we're doing here is we're pulling some cable. The technician from TelData is pulling cable through. And what he's done is that's a service loop. So he's going to pull the loop down because he has a 90-degree turn here. So that service loop, as he pulls it down, it just makes it easy for him to feed it through the cable at the 90-degree turn. So you can see that it's a 90-degree turn there. He's in the corner. So now what's happening is the technician here is going to wind it up and is going to leave it here because the cubicles aren't installed yet. And so you want to put it up in a protected area. You can see the other service, they're not actually service loops, but it's always good to have service loops to have a little extra cable up in the ceiling. But in this case, they're not service loops. They just don't have the, obviously this is a construction site. We don't have the cubicles installed yet. So you got to get the cubicles installed, and then what's going to happen is they will turn around and feed the cable through the cubicle. So there's usually at least 2 phases to a cabling deal, and that's first one is to pull the cable, and the second one is to set finish. And at this point, what you want to do is get that cable up, and especially it's easier if you don't have the ceiling up yet. You can do it after the ceiling's up, but it's easier when the ceiling's not up. And that's pull cable. So you're going to pull cable everywhere, and this is probably going to be a 2-phase pull cable because they got to pull it to the area, and then they got to wait for the cubes to come in, and then once the cubes come in, then they turn around and finish the pre-cable. So the nice thing about this too is they're using pull string, and you can see it's a little green string in there. You can see it there. Now that green string helps them to pull the cable. So it goes all the way back to the room where the cable boxes are, and they attach cable to that pull string, and then the person down here can turn around and pull the pull string, and then pull the cable to that location. Again, you got to have a service loop when you have a 90-degree like that. You can't just pull around a 90-degree. It really is a pain. So you always do a little loop there. Now the other thing I want to point out to you is the ceiling. The ceiling, all these walls are cut. So in the past, maybe they were firewalls. They're not anymore. Once they're cut like this, they're no longer a firewall. So you have no code requirements in that. So you just pull through it, you don't worry about it, you don't have to put fire stop or anything else in them. But let's take a look at the HVAC. And if you see everywhere, there's two ducts coming down. Now, if one is an intake and one is an exhaust from the HVAC, then it's a non-plenum rated ceiling, and you don't need to use plenum cable in a non-plenum rated ceiling. What you use is non-plenum rated cable, and I'm getting distracted here, sorry. And so the difference in price is significant. Plenum rated cable is about twice as expensive as non-plenum cable. You have to know your jurisdiction. There are some jurisdictions that require plenum rated cable in every install. Now, a plenum rated cable would mean that the ceiling is the return. So they have one feed duct feeding the heater and the air conditioner down to the living area, and then they use the whole ceiling as a return duct. But if you have a return duct and a feed duct, then it's a non-plenum rated ceiling. So you need to know what type of ceiling you have before you buy the cable, or else you're buying the wrong cable and you can't put it up there because it's non-plenum, and you can't put a non-plenum cable in a plenum ceiling. Now you can put a plenum cable in a non-plenum ceiling, that's fine, but that's beyond the code. It's not required. Again, your jurisdiction might be different. So you have to figure out what is going to work for your jurisdiction. Now this is a demo, so there's going to be a lot of old sloppy wire from years past, and you're going to see it right here. But you're going to see this wire right here, and that wire right there has been spliced together using beans, or jelly beans, beanies, and it's used for splicing wire. You can't do that with computer cable. Of course, in this case, it's just going to run a telephone. So you got a telephone here, the cable runs to the telephone. There are some of the old jacks that are there, and usually that red wire like that, that's some sort of control wire. It might be fire alarm, it might be HVAC, but it's not a computer wire. So this is basically the installation. This is how it looks. It's actually a very nice, clean installation. It's going very well. Again, they're still in the first part of the first phase, but they're still in that phase. Oh, you can see the cable. Now, you're working with other trades. There needs to be some negotiation to stay out of their way, for them to stay out of your way, things like that. That's pretty normal in this type of construction. Right here, what you have is you have stub outs. Now, stub outs, usually the electrician puts in the stub outs, but it's this regular conduit that goes all the way down the wall to an outlet. And when you have it up there like that, it's a 90-degree bend above the ceiling. Can you see the ceiling rail going in there? It's a 90-degree bend above the ceiling, so that's why it's called a stub out, and it's usually above the ceiling. Now this is nice because they have bushings on the end. Normally there's no bushings on the end. There's just a piece of conduit coming out, and you really don't need bushings for low voltage. I don't know why they put them in there, but that's extra. And this is turning into a very nice job with the J-hooks and all, and everything else, getting them up ahead of time. Now the J-hooks are attached to stringers. Let me show you one. I'm walking back, see if I can find the stringer here. So the J-hooks are attached to that metal wire coming down the wall. You see it? And the metal wire is attached to the sub-ceiling or subfloor from above. And they're called stringers, and usually you can get your ceiling guys to put them in, or you have to put them in yourself, and it takes a device to put them in. It's no big deal. But if you look up there, there's also hooks that someone put in a long time ago. You can attach your stringers to them. And sometimes you can attach your stringers to the ceiling supports, but they're normally used for ceiling supports, and of course they are used for J-hooks, to hold J-hooks up. And you can see them right there how they're using them. So it holds the cable up, keeps the cable off the ceiling. This amount of cable hanging on the ceiling after a little bit of time is going to show bulging on the ceiling. If you're running 1 or 2 cables and the ceiling's already up, it's no big deal. You don't need J-hooks. But generally speaking, when you're putting in new cable, you want to put J-hooks up there. So that's your, it's a nice installation. They're doing a great job. It's a great company. If you're in Southern California, you need to hire them if you need cabling. TelData. Okay, so I've given you a quick review of everything. Now this is some cable that's been up there for years. It's not TelData. This is from the old suite. That's a 25 pair cable. It's a lot thicker. Usually it's this color, this phone company greenish gray color, and it has 25 pairs of cable. When you deal with voice and data networks, you don't deal with individual wires. You're dealing with pairs. It's never individual wires. Now this one is really thick, and that's probably a 50 pair cable or something else that I'm unaware of. But rarely we ever see that anywhere. And in fact, you're hardly going to see 25 pair anymore because everything has gone to voice over IP. And of course, voice over IP is really just computer language, binary language, and the phone is now a computer. This is really sloppy up here, as you could see, from years of abuse and no one doing the job right or clean. And it takes extra effort to do it right. And sometimes people are in a hurry and they go sometimes with the lowest bid, and then they end up with junk like that. Well, not that all lowest bids are junk, by the way, but that's what happens. So if you got a good cabling company, or if you're planning to do cabling, then make sure you do it right. Trying to think if there's anything else here. Don't see anything else. Again, this is Jim Gibson with cablesupply.com. Thank you for listening to this video today. I do appreciate it. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And of course, we also have Subscribe Star in the description. And what that is an organization that you can donate $1 a month or $5 a month, and it helps me do videos like this because this does take time and effort, but I do enjoy doing it. So please help me. You can also do a donation through PayPal, and PayPal can, you can do a monthly or a one-time donation, things like that. Again, Jim Gibson, Cable Supply. Thank you for watching this video. I do appreciate it. Thumbs up, subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.